Alright, today's project is going to be soldering copper piping. Used to scare me to death till I learned a few tricks of the trade, and now it's second nature. You'll need solder, flux, which I bought at a local home improvement center, a flux brush to spread it around, a fitting brush to clean the inside of your fittings, possibly a file. Depending on how your tubing cutter cuts, it may leave a little burr that can be hard to sand off, so you can use a file to trim it if necessary. And then we've of course got the copper pipe and the fittings, and I'll be doing this in a workshop environment, but it's much easier for me to show the techniques and tools this way than crammed up between two floor joists under a house or some such situation. But you're going to get the gist of it, and I hope feel comfortable attempting this repair yourself rather than having to pay quite a fee to have someone do it. So these videos we do are just to help you out, give you a little confidence making your own repairs till you can get a professional, or until you can afford one, whatever the situation may be. So with that thought, let's move forward. Alright, here we have a piece of 3/4 inch copper. It's L copper. There's three thicknesses of copper: K, L, and M. K being the thickest, heaviest copper, L being the centermost, and M, which is a thin wall copper but commonly used in residential. I've got it chucked up in the vise here. If I failed to mention it earlier, you will need some sandpaper of any sort, Scotch-Brite, steel wool. All we're doing is we're going to clean the surface of the copper pipe, remove oxidation, and prep it to take the solder. This is 220 grit. Just whatever you got. Anything will work. I'd say you probably don't want to get any rougher than 100 grit maybe. Clean all sides of the pipe. Wipe the grit and grime off. You want to apply your flux, and this that I bought came with its own little flux brush. It's nothing fancy. It's probably a dime brush, and we're going to brush this flux all around it. Try not to use too much, it just makes a mess, but a coating all the way around, a little further back than what you think your fitting is going to go. Now, once we've accomplished that, we need to take our fitting, which I just have a coupling here, as if we're going to couple a broken pipe. We've cut a piece out. We take our brush, insert it inside of this fitting, and turn it several times. This is a special sized brush just for 3/4 inch copper fittings. And we've cleaned it. Blow the dust out of it. It should slip right on this pipe, and it's ready to apply heat and solder at this point. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit so you can observe this process a little better. And I've just got a propane torch, nothing fancy. It's a Surefire, well used. It's just handy to have it, a striker built into your torch. It'll start up immediately. I'm going to peel out some solder and get it ready. to the fitting. We're going to try and heat this entire piece of pipe and fitting joint until it's ready to take the solder. And you can test it by touching it to the piping, and when it's ready, it'll go. Now you see how it pulled under that? It doesn't take gobs of solder. It pulled it, the heat pulled the solder between the fitting and the pipe all the way around. And that is a successful joint in copper. I'll do another one here in a moment. Use a little different fitting, just so you can see that it's not magic. It's just the right tools and the right materials and a little bit of knowledge. Alright, I've mocked up a 90. This will simulate a lot of instances you may run into. And whether you're soldering vertically or horizontally, it doesn't matter. Once you get everything clean and fluxed, when you put the heat to it, it's all going to work. Now if you've got old flux and old funky solder, I suggest you go get new. Making a repair and having to fight it all day long isn't much fun. So let me go ahead and put the heat to this and give you one more example of just how easy this can be. Move the torch around, spread the heat, because you want the entire fitting to be hot enough to take the solder all at one time. You ought to be getting close. There it goes. You can see a thin line of solder around there, and it's all inside the fitting. It ain't running off, dripping down, all that sort of thing. There it is, inside the fitting. If you do get a little where you don't want it, all it takes is a cotton rag and you can wipe it off. Well, I hope you have the confidence to try this for yourself. Make sure all combustibles are out of the way. Be careful, be safe. Thank you.